Welcome to the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast, your one-stop shop for television, movie, video games, comic books, book reviews, and more. Now, without further ado, here's Steven and Mike.
Welcome, everybody, to the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. This is our special episode for the Bad Batch. Now, we are doing the Bad Batch episodes and pretty excited about doing these. But I am Stephen Boster, your co-host, along with our other fabulous co-host, Mr. Michael Shanks.
Good morning, all you geeks out there in Geekdom Land. Are you ready for some Bad Batch?
Bad Batch.
Awesome.
All right. Well, I guess this is another week where I eat my words again. From
wait. I got to eat some crow.
Oh, okay.
I got to eat some crow. So, I was pretty adamant last week of who I thought, Crosshair was going to turn out to be. And then right after we got finished recording and stuff, I saw something that I completely forgot that, Dengar.
Well, let's say what you said last week. Last week, for those of you who may not have caught it, Mike and I were having a discussion about what has happened in Crosshair.
Right.
And there's an incredible parallel of how he was bandaged to make him look like
Dengar. At least in my opinion, I thought that's what he was.
Yes, and that was Mike's opinion. I disagreed.
Yeah, and
I was like, "Are you sure?"
And you were,
I rolled with it though. I mean, you're the bigger Star Wars fan. I mean, I love Star Wars. Don't get me wrong, but you're more in the know about stuff, and I'm setting you up if you noticed.
Stephen, you were right.
What? I was right.
To quote Fonzarelli from Happy Days, I was wrong. Wrong.
Right.
So I'm eating crow this morning.
I guess I listened to RFR afterwards.
Yeah, I did too. And they just totally stomped all over me.
Well, just the idea, not you personally, but the idea.
Oh, it felt like they stomped on me personally.
Yeah,
I know they didn't call me out or anything. I don't. Who knows if they even listened to us, but it was just like, oh dang, yeah, okay, they were right. I completely forgot Dengar was in an episode. And the funny thing is, Dengar not only was in an episode, he's voiced by Simon freaking Pegg, which is a kind of a joke on their episode. And I was like, oh, that is so right. I even completely forgot who voiced him. Yeah, I should have remembered that. So
wah, wah.
Right. Oh well.
Well, you know what? I do.
We make bad calls.
Saying, hey, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay to admit when you're wrong. I've done it many times on the show. So
it happens every once in a great while.
Right. All right. Well, we are continuing with this episode and just clearing up from the previous episode some stuff. But this one is episode 9.
Yep.
And this one is entitled. I leave it for Mike because Mike is always really emphatic because that one time he couldn't remember it. And so
I got it
every week about it.
Of course, I'm cheating. I looked at Wikipedia, but that's
right?
Okay. It's called Bounty Lost. Bounty Lost.
Yeah. So we'll just kind of walk through the episode. I think that's kind of what we've been kind of doing. We're, as you said earlier in our pre-show notes, like we were like, hey, we're over halfway through.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
Kind of a thing. So We're on the tail end. So I would suspect, like, this episode has some great reveals in it. I hope that the rest of the season is just constant reveals or constant moving this story along,
right?
And not filler. Because, not last week's episode. Last week's episode was, episode 8 was good. Episode 8 was good. We both had a great time with that. But the 2 episodes before that, it was so funny to quote. Mike was like, "Steven, I don't think we've ever heard you as grumpy or
grumpy Steven." Grumpy Steven.
Grumpy Steven. Right.
Well, I got to say, I didn't like this episode as much as last week's.
Oh, okay.
Not as much.
Really? Okay.
I liked it. But I had a slight issue with this one.
Okay.
Of course, it's got Cad Bane, so it's going to have higher numbers because it's got Cad Bane. All Cad Bane's got to do is show up, and it's going to be a better episode. So,
right.
Yeah, I had a little bit of an issue with something that happened in this, but then the reveal, it was like, whoa, it was kind of mind blowing. So, that
I will
upped it also.
I will say that I wonder if we should give our ratings and give our overview ratings, and then we'll walk through the episode.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, that's fine. That's kind of what we were doing in the past anyway. So,
yeah. Right. So I give this one 4 out of 5 Cad Bane hats.
That's exactly what I was going to give it to. 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Yep. Last week I gave it a 5. Well, actually, I gave it a 10 out of 5, but
all right.
But yeah, this week I give it a 4. Like I said, it's just not quite as good. Not quite as good as last week.
Okay, good. I'd like to hear what you have to say about it. I enjoyed this episode overall because we got a little more reveal about Omega.
Mm-hmm.
I am excited about your reaction to who hired who. I thought of you because I was like, oh, I think Mike called it. And then the bounty hunter fights were great. And then I think there's a little bit more, kind of reveals about where we're headed. And I don't want to give too much until we get there, but I found it interesting. They were at another clone location. And I want to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
What we saw within that. And so I want to get your thoughts on that because I was like, man, I can't wait to talk to Mike about it to get your insights on what was going on. So, but grand scheme of things, 4 out of 5, that's where I would give it.
Totally
Cad Bane
agree.
hats. 4 out of 5 Cad Bane hats.
Cad Bane hats.
He's got to have a whole bunch of hats because he would have lost a whole bunch of hats in this episode.
No, he doesn't.
Sorry.
No, he doesn't.
I know he doesn't, but I mean, just
he killed a guy once for touching his hat. He did. You don't touch Cad Bane's hat.
Right. Okay, so starting with the beginning, it starts off and we see a hot pursuit going on.
I wished I would have had Roscoe. Woo, ooh, hot pursuit.
Right.
I wish I would have had a soundbite of that. Roscoe P. Coltrane. Anyway, sorry.
That's a Dukes of Hazzard reference.
Yes.
That tells you our age. That not the movie, but the old TV show.
Oh, no. Those movies are horrible.
I didn't watch them.
I watched one.
Did you?
Yeah.
So we see where our Bad Batch friends are being chased by. It kind of like, okay, all of a sudden they're in space and there's Crosshair behind them.
Yeah.
Going after and shooting them. I'm like, okay, who looks pretty rough with the bandages and stuff.
I think he's ticked.
Yeah.
I think he's a little upset. Just a little.
Right. The question is, okay, so because he's so goofy, do you think they'll kill him off?
No, I still think he's going to turn into a bounty hunter or something. So it may not be somebody we know.
There's going to be some kind of redemption arc for him.
I don't know. I honestly, I don't know where they're going with him.
The redemption arc thing, I think, would be kind of tough because he's so messed up. That's what brought me in my mess.
Right.
He gets the whole redemption, and then it's like wah wah.
I think we got everything we're going to get as far as who ends up on the rebellion side. I think it's all the Bad Batch. It's, all what we have left of the Bad Batch minus Crosshair. Okay. I think they're going to end up on the rebellion side. And I think Crosshair is I think he's going to end up becoming a bounty hunter. Because I don't think the Empire is going to want to keep him. Because
he's damaged goods.
Yeah, he's big time damaged goods.
Right.
And I think at this point he'll fit better with the bounty hunters than he will anywhere else. So that's just where I'm predicting he's going. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's kind of hard to say right now. Yeah, I kind of think his redemption arc I think it might be done for. I'm not seeing a future for that.
All right, we'll see what happens. All right, so then you see we're back to the Bad Batch scene, or they're in their ship and stuff, and like, we've got to get Omega, we got to catch the bounty hunter, and my brain went, you ain't catching Cad Bane, kind of a thing. But I do like it where they sit there. Okay, let's just go to hyperspace to get out from where we're at, because we're not gonna, if we don't live through this, we're not gonna be able to get her, kind of a thing. So,
right.
So I thought that was interesting, and then interesting. Then we're back to, so right after that, then we go back to Cad Bane's ship. We've got Cad Bane. He's got the girl. Omega's waking up. There's the little robot guy. I forgot his name.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. I should know that too. Toto 360.
Yeah,
Toto 360. Toto,
get up here.
Toto.
Yeah,
I wished I could do Cad Bane's voice. Little lady.
Right. Right. So, we see where she's trying to, finagle whatsoever and stuff. And so she's captured. Then we see Cad Bane contact someone.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, we're going to find out who hired him, kind of a thing.
I knew who hired him.
You do what?
I knew who hired him.
Right. You did, Mike. You were right here.
What I didn't know was that somebody else hired another bounty hunter. Mm-hmm. Now that one I didn't see coming. So that was interesting. That was an interesting little twist I liked.
Right. So the head of the
prime minister.
I kept saying Kamonians because that's what I heard. They're Kamonians, Kaminoans or whatever. So it's Kaminoan.
They're cloners.
They're cloners, kind of a thing. So I thought that was interesting. So the head, what's his name? The prime minister, what was... we see him show up, and so he's like...
Lama Su.
No, it wasn't Lama Su.
It says right here, Kamonian Prime Minister Lama Su.
All right, so who was the second? So later
Nayla Sa.
We'll get.
So you got Lama Su, you got Nayla Sa, and Tan We. I'm reading them. I'm telling you.
Okay,
that's what they are.
Okay, so Lama Su.
See, Tan We, if you go back to episode 2, the Attack of the Clones. With Jango Fett and little Boba Fett. Tan We's the one who shows up with ObiWan Kenobi. And that's when Boba Fett is, when he says, "Dad, Tan We's here."
Right.
In my horrible Daniel Logan impersonation.
That makes sense now. Okay. So later on, we'll get to it.
Okay, sorry.
But hey, everybody, I want you to remember, Tan We's here. Dad, Tan We's here. We're going to come back to that, and I want you to repeat your voice later on to say something else.
I'll do my best.
All right. So here we go. So I want to get those names straight because they're important for later on. So thank you for your help with that. So Lama Su, Prime Minister, is the one who hired Cad Bane. We're like, whoa, that takes some bucks. But, they're, Kamonians, Kaminoans.
Well,
I'm never going to get that right.
They made a lot off the Republic, so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
They got money. They got credits.
Right. Okay, so then we find that out, which is awesome. We're like, okay, now we know, because we had been speculating who hired them, and you said it's the it's Kaminoans. I'm just gonna go through that all this episode. I
them cloners,
more caffeine. The cloners, yeah, that's one of them darts from them cloners. Okay, so then we kind of move on, and we see her. We see Omega kind of attempt to escape. She sort of does. She gets her communicator or whatever. But what's interesting is we find out in the...
Well, she outsmarts Toto.
She does outsmart Toto.
Because Toto's...
She fixes him.
Right, she fixes him.
Knocks him out because it's only temporary, kind of a thing. So then...
Which I knew it was going to happen right away, because it's like, yeah, come on. Right. It's too easy not to happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
So go ahead.
Right. No, but that we'd find out that, okay, Cad Bane's like, send me my money. And he says, meet at this location.
Right.
And goes there. And then in the process of arriving there, go ahead.
I want to know, when you saw the location that he was arriving at, what was your initial thought?
Because you couldn't see anything, you mean?
Well, I mean, just the landscape of what it was. Did you have anything in mind of where they were at?
Cloud City.
That's what I thought too. I was like, this looks like Cloud City. Is this like an abandoned part of Bespin or what? Or as Lando would say, Bespin.
We're having fun with our voice interpretations today.
I'm trying.
Neither one of us are doing a great job.
Lando is one of my favorites, though. I love me some Lando. He's the best. He is the smoothest swindler in the entire Star Wars galaxy. But
aren't they going to make a Lando series?
Yeah, there's supposed to be a Lando series.
That'll be interesting.
It's in development. Yeah. We'll definitely cover that if that happens. We got to do some Lando for sure.
Okay, so I did think it was
business,
Cloud City,
baby.
Say that again.
It's only business, baby. That's a little more Billy D.
Right. I did think it was Cloud City because because what we had seen of Camino was thunderstorms and all that kind of and we didn't see that. I thought it was Cloud City. Yeah,
I did too. But apparently, it is a abandoned cloning site, is what it is.
Yeah, which we got to get into that here in a minute. Okay, so we see Omega, kind of escape. She gets her communicator and then she runs out and she's trying to, and we see all that. That's kind of cool action and stuff. So they've landed there on Bespin, baby. No, I'm just kidding. So they're there at the abandoned cloning facility, and then lo and behold, he's there waiting to get his money.
Uh-huh.
And it's Tanwi.
Yep.
Tanwi.
Yep.
Dad, Tanwi's here. All of a sudden you hear a laser blast and you see Tanwi laying down and
she dead.
And Omega says, We've got to help her. And what does Cad Bane say? He says something to the effect of She's helping her, kind of a thing.
She's beyond our help.
So now I want to hear you say, Dad, Tanwi's dead.
Dad, Tanwi's dead.
Oh gosh.
Are you sure this isn't late at night? Because I think we went into slap app territory.
I think we did. We've had too much caffeine this morning.
I've only had one coffee.
I don't think either of us got enough sleep. So realistically, it's like
that's very possible. Okay, all right, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. Dad, Tanwi's dead.
Tanwi's dead.
That's hilarious.
They killed her off, but I guess it does answer the question. Well, where was she later on? Yeah, I guess I would assume, if some people were asking, we kind of get what happens to her. So they are connecting the movies with the TV series.
Right.
I mean, I guess it's canon kind of thing. I was like, oh, they killed somebody off.
Yeah.
So which makes me think, I wonder who else they're going to kill off. I mean, that's just me, That's one of the reasons I thought, I wonder if Crosshair's not going to make it.
I think if I remember right, okay, I'm going to talk about our last guest, actually, Karen Travis.
Okay. It was a great episode. That was great.
It's a great episode. She didn't want to talk Star Wars, but that's
her prerogative.
Right, it's her prerogative, and we respected that. That's not a problem. But
she was great.
She did.
Oh my goodness.
She wrote several Star Wars books, and she wrote the line that I've been reading. I'm in book 5 of this particular series, and book 2 was Bloodlines, and that was her book, because it was like three authors were writing this series. It was like one took each book, and then they each took the next 3, and then they each, so on and so forth.
Okay.
Anyway, she had book 2, which was Bloodlines, and it was very Boba Fett centric. And in that, Boba Fett, he's aged, he's...
Now, is this Legends? Or
this would be considered Legends.
Okay.
But he's aged, and he's on the verge of dying, actually. And he's needing some medical help. So, and if I remember right, he searches out Tanwi, if I remember correctly. So that completely throws out that they can't do that now, since they've killed her off, which, that's fine, whatever, because, they're changing canon all the time anyway, so no big deal.
Right.
I mean, and technically, this book wasn't canon, it was Legends, but
right.
It's just one storyline that they won't really be able to go into, so.
Yeah. Who was it that said something to the effect of, it's canon for you?
That would have been John Jackson Miller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, see, I look at a lot of the Legends that if they've been disputed through what's happened, what's deemed canon now, to me, I look at it more as an alternative universe.
You said multiverse,
right? Well, I said alternative, but multiverse works too. So I look at it. I look at it as Star Wars multiverse. So
sure.
Yeah.
Sure. What if, like Marvel's What If series?
Right. Exactly. Okay.
All right. Yeah. All right. You're going to win me over to this whole multiverse at some point in time, but not yet.
Oh yeah. Well, wait till we talk about Batman and Flash, which is coming.
Right.
Anyway, let's get back to
upcoming episode.
Let's get back.
Yep. Hey, just real quick. Seems like we're having a little bit of technical difficulties on my end, because sometimes if you're talking and I talk over you, it cuts you out. So,
okay.
So if I ask you to repeat or something, that's only because I couldn't catch part of that. So I don't know if it's doing it. So
it's not your old age.
Say that again. Old age? Is that what you said?
I said
all I heard was old age.
It's not your old age. It's not.
Yeah. Something. Okay, so, hey everybody, we're just on the fly. We just do these on the fly and have a great time. So, okay, so Tanwi's dead. Hey, Dad, Tanwi's dead. Right. So now we get a great fight between the two, and then Fennec Shand is there, and we realize, wait a minute. Fennec, was she wasn't hired. My brain, because she was battling, they were fighting over getting the girl, and like, Cad Bane just wants to get paid. Go ahead.
I thought, my thinking was, okay, this is just like Mandalorian. The bounty hunters are given their pucks, right?
Oh, right. The part of the guild. So
right.
So they would have sent it out to the guild.
Right.
They would have gotten their little
pucks, and then okay, this is your job. And I just figured that the Kimonians had hired more than one in case one couldn't do the job. So hence we have Cad Bane versus Fennec Shand. And that's what I figured. Fennec's like, no, I'm taking the bounty so I can go get it. I did not know that Lama Su. No, wait a minute.
Yeah, we got to get our names right. And stuff.
Yeah,
some of our listeners are going, it's so and so.
Yeah, Lama Su. Or no, Lama Su's the prime minister. Nalase. Sorry.
Nalase.
I did not expect Nalase to have hired her to save Omega. So I thought that was a cool little twist. I like that.
I did too. I did like that a lot because it showed you had already been saying that Nalase was felt like a mother figure, or there was some kind of strong bond between her and Omega.
Right.
And I think that solidified it. It was like, oh,
yeah.
You know, because even Fennec had shared saying, you have no idea what they're going to do to you, kind of thing, or something to that effect. I'm like, she's separate. And that's where I was like, Nalase must have hired her to help protect her, because we had already heard, I think by this point, we had already heard that Nalase was told, get the girl back, get her blood, then terminate her.
Yeah, right. Which is interesting because that means, they wanted her alive to a certain point, and then they don't care what happens to her. So that's pretty interesting that they're just...
So this is a plot hole for me. This is or not a plot hole, but a plot discrepancy for me. So we find out from Echo, I guess, oh, by the way, I tested her blood and she's first generation. I'm like, well, that's convenient. I was like, dude, you've had her here the whole time and you're in the middle of something else and you're like, oh, she's so valuable. Here's why. I'm like,
well, they couldn't have revealed that in the first episode.
Fair enough. Okay, but that's not my plot discrepancy.
Okay.
My plot discrepancy is this. They kept Jango Fett around. Why? Because he was the primary.
He's the original.
Right. And we did find out that we got Boba was called, codenamed. Did you catch that?
Yes.
Alpha.
And she is Omega.
It's not Omega. Well, in Greek, it's Omega.
Right.
So first and last. So
correct.
We don't know if that only means two, or if there's a, alpha, beta, gamma, delta, blah, 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 blah. I go through the Greek alpha, if there's 20 some odd of them. But I guess my point being is, okay, so if she's like Boba Fett, that's how I understood that. She's an unadulterated one.
Right. She's unaltered. Yeah. Which means she ages normally. Because Boba Fett was the first, again, alpha. Now that makes sense. That makes complete sense. So he was the first clone out of, I won't say he's the first clone ever, because I did watch what's his face.
Speaking of age, everybody.
We talked about him before. Anyway, I watched his video, and he talks about
Star Wars Theory.
Yeah, Star Wars Theory. Thank you. I watched Star Wars Theory, and he talks about the Kimonians and how they've done all kinds of clones before our clones. Before the Republic clones, and in fact, they've even messed with their own genetics, their own DNA, changed themselves, because when their planet became the water planet that it was, because it wasn't a water planet originally, it was something else. And then
okay.
Yeah, it was a good.
All right, so that's helping answer some of the questions I have later on.
Well,
so, okay,
they even changed their genetics to make them more compatible with their planet, which is kind of why they look like what they look like. And when you see that clone in the tube that
there it is.
falls,
that was my question. Yes.
Yeah, when you see that clone, they think that was one of them. That was one of the ones that they were changing the genetics on. So it's slightly different from what they are, but it looks similar to them. It is not Snoke. Similar. It is not Snoke.
Right. It's not Snoke, but it did make me go, huh. So it wasn't just, they weren't just cloning Boba or Jango Fett.
Yeah.
They were, and I was like, are they cloning themselves? And that was my question. So thank you. That when I said earlier that was what I wanted to talk about. I was like, are they cloning themselves? It doesn't quite look like them.
Right.
But kind of does. It's
and I think
tall and lanky. Okay.
When Fennec Shan tells Omega, you don't want to know what they have planned for you. I think they're planning something pretty devious, actually. And they're thinking of making her into something else, something totally different.
Right.
She will not, by their plans.
I didn't take it that way. I took it as you don't know what they have planned for you. Like they want to kill you. That's how I took it.
I mean, sure, they want to kill her. They don't care. They just want her blood. But that's so they can make something. Her blood. That's so they can make something else out of her, which could ultimately be even worse.
Right.
They're going to turn you into some kind of monster.
Yeah. Well, all right. So let me continue with the discrepancy, and we'll come back to this because they kept Jango there, and because they always wanted him to be there because he was the primary, he was the first. And I thought, well, if they've got this one, so this first generation, because earlier on in the series, do you remember there were Lamas who was talking about, or there was some discussion about a copy of a copy of a copy,
right?
And it was degrading and stuff, over time.
Correct.
It was degrading over time. So that's where I thought, okay, something's going on here. They want her, so that way they still have that first copy,
right?
Kind of a thing,
right?
So the discrepancy was that why are they wanting to kill her? Because wouldn't you want to still have her there available to you? So that's why I thought it was kind of weird. It didn't make sense. But I guess for drama, for the show, they're going to kill her, kind of a thing.
Unless, like you said, we have Alpha, Beta, Kappa, Delta.
Right.
Wow.
Lambda, Mu.
Yeah, I was impressed I came up with that much.
Right.
Right off the top of my head, too. That was pretty good.
That was good.
Thanks.
So, all right. So, that's where I was at. But you're saying they'll probably do something more devious. They'll use her blood, and they're trying to do whatever. So,
right.
Does that mean that there's more to her? Now, she's unaltered as far as the aging goes. Do we think there's anything else that may be why they want her so bad, or just want her blood, or is there anything else that makes her special, or she's not? She's just an unaltered. My brain when I heard unaltered went to aging, but I could be wrong.
Well, now the Bad Batch, they make the comment that she's different from them, and I think when they're saying that, they don't just mean she's unaltered like Boba Fett. They're saying there's something more to her. So, yeah, I think she's unaltered in the fact that she doesn't age. I mean, she ages normally, just like Boba Fett. But there's something else in her genetics that we don't know about that I think is going to get revealed over these next, 6 episodes or whatever we have left. I think that's going to be what's unfolding for the second half of the season. Who exactly is Omega? Why is she so special? Why do the Kamonians want her so badly? What is so special about her? Which that's always been a looming question in our mind, but now it's a bigger question because we know that there is something more to her that we had no clue of before. And who knows? This could tie into Grogu, Baby Yoda. Because obviously in the Mandalorian episodes, they're trying to get Baby Yoda's blood. So maybe there's some kind of tie from Omega to Grogu.
Did they say something to the effect of, what was it? That if they tried to get more from him, they were going to kill him?
Yeah.
Or something that to that effect?
They did. Because the one scientist, he said that he actually saved him. So, yeah. I don't know. And they want her blood. They want Grogu's blood. And obviously, we haven't been revealed in Mandalorian that it's the Kamonians, but if you look at the patch that scientist is wearing, it's identical to the ones that all the clones are wearing in Camino. Thank you. And
I think it is Kaminoans.
Kaminoans. Okay.
Kaminoans.
It is like the toughest Star Wars name ever.
I know. Well, we said it different ways. We may have programmed ourselves to say it wrong.
That's true.
Whatever.
That's true.
And
anyway,
yeah. So they've got something devious for her, is what we were saying, and then you explained, which my question was the whole little battle scene and stuff like that, the fight between the bounty hunters. We see a container that looked like what Snoke was in.
Right.
Snoke's,
yep.
In the last Star Wars movie, Rise of Skywalker. I'm like, when they showed those, I was like, boy, those pods look familiar, and that's probably why people were like, oh no, it's Snoke, and
pickled Snoke.
Right. So we see those. So that's them. So that, based upon your Star Wars Theory video that you watched, that's where you got that. That was that they were trying to change themselves to adapt to their environment.
Yep, that's exactly where I got that from. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's interesting. I like that. Okay, so that does help answer that for me.
Okay.
So then we see Fennec and Cad Bane go at it, and I loved how he was like, Cad Bane was like, she was saying something that she was a newbie or a novice, or
right.
You can't go against me, kind of a thing.
This is where I can't give it a 5.
Okay. Sock it to me. Let me hear. Let me hear it.
I like Fennec Shan. I think she's incredible. But we've already established that she is an up and coming bounty hunter. She is not Cad Bane level. Okay? And I'm going to borrow again a little bit from Star Wars Theory here, but even in Star Wars Theory, he made the comment that there was a point in the Clone Wars where Cad Bane, he went up against ObiWan Kenobi, and technically he defeated ObiWan Kenobi. I mean, he didn't kill Obi-Wan, obviously, but he won the battle. He beat Obi-Wan. And you're telling me Fennec Shan, who's not the bounty hunter that Cad Bane is, can take out Cad Bane? I don't think so. She is not his level.
All right, everybody. So what you're hearing right now is a defensive Mike Shanks from his number 2 favorite bounty hunter.
Darn right.
Saying that this cannot happen. No, in all fairness, that's funny. Based upon the lore and what we've seen, and I agree with you, the whole aspect of Obi-Wan Kenobi, based upon that, yes, should she have been that successful? I mean, she got her licks from Cad Bane, too. I mean, that kind of thing. So was it just per chance? Was he really defeated? Or was it, I don't know. I still thought it was cool for the character that she could keep up with Cad Bane.
Oh, I don't have a problem with that.
But I don't think I can't really say she defeated Cad Bane.
Okay, defeated. How about bested? All right. Is that better?
She got lucky.
Yeah, well, yeah. I agree with that. She got completely lucky. So, because in all realistic, as realistic as we can be in the Star Wars universe.
Right.
with his level of skill, there's just no way. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just like when we were talking about with him facing down Hunter. It's like, you're not going to win a gunslinging contest against Cad Bane.
Cad Bane.
It's not going to happen. Sorry.
No, Hunter, no. Yeah, you knew it. You knew when they faced down. We talked about it already, but
right.
From that last episode, just like, We
also have to talk about him losing his hat.
Yeah, we probably should, because that's why we said 4 out of 5 Cad Bane hats.
Well, no, there's, and I'm gonna borrow from Star Wars Theory again. I know I'm kind of leaning on him for this episode, but this was, I thought this was interesting. When Cad Bane loses his hat, we see that Cad Bane has some kind of cap thing on his head.
Yeah. Right, there's no hair there. There's some kind of...
Well, Cad Bane doesn't have hair, but normally you just see his blue skull, or blue skin, his head, his bald head, and he's wearing some kind of cap, some kind of...
Yeah, you don't know if it's armor or if it's... Or I don't think it's armor. I think it's...
Well, you remember...
Some kind of injury or something.
Right. Exactly. So you remember last week we discussed an unreleased episode of the Clone Wars where Cad Bane and Boba Fett have a showdown.
Oh, right. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch that.
Right. Star Wars Theory believes that this shows that showdown already happened. Uh-huh. Cad Bane gave Boba Fett the dent in his helmet, and this skull cap thing that he's wearing now is a result of what Boba Fett did to Cad Bane. So Cad Bane actually survived the showdown between him and Boba.
So since they've already said that was canon?
Right.
Because you mentioned that last time about...
Mm-hmm.
That was canon, so how did he survive?
Right.
So...
Right, exactly. So this puts that in the timeline after that showdown, and both Cad Bane and Boba Fett survived the showdown. I thought that was cool. I like that.
It is interesting. Okay.
Which makes makes Cad Bane still on level with Boba Fett.
Right. Right.
I'm all for this. I'm all for this theory. This is a great theory.
Okay.
I was excited.
Right on. Right on. So, okay. Well, cool. All right. Okay. That's a good little tidbit, because I did wonder that. And a lot of times they don't, everything's done with purpose.
Right.
Everything.
Right.
Everything within the episodes are done with purpose. And I always thought, he's taking off his hat to show us that, he's got some kind of armor. That's not armor. That looks like something, just like his thing sticking out from his cheek.
Oh, I know what the purpose of those are, too.
What's the purpose of those?
So the purpose of that is, since Cad Bane has fought Jedi, and he knows that Jedi can do a force choke move, he has put a tube down his own throat, and that's what those connect to. So in case he gets force choked by a Jedi, he can still survive. Cad Bane is awesome.
That's interesting. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. Technically, that would be Sith that would. Or dark side users that would choke.
Luke force choked a Gamorrean guard in Return of the Jedi.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
And even when we saw him in the last episode of Mandalorian, when he crunched up one of the dark troopers.
Well, that could be argued because they're not sentient beings. They're just.
But that still was not, from my understanding, that was not a normal light Jedi move.
Well, yeah, it's not. It isn't. But to me, I think Return of the Jedi is even more, because he literally just kills a Gamorrean guard walking into Jabba's palace. Right. Which, I mean, it was a great scene. And it was to establish that, he is now a full-fledged.
He's more powerful.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's the reason they did it. But it is a dark side move. It's not a light Jedi move. But that's proof that Jedis can do it too. It doesn't mean that you, as a Jedi, you can't do it. You just choose not to.
Right.
So.
Okay.
And so you're telling me that Cad Bane hasn't come across any kind of... I mean, maybe he doesn't realize it's a Sith, and technically he's not supposed to because Siths have the rule of two, but we all know that Palpatine threw the whole rule of two out the window.
Right.
So, anyway. Yeah. That's a different rabbit hole.
Okay. That's like a whole nother episode talking about the rule of two, where it came from and how it was used and how it was in the,
Then we go into another one of my favorite Banes. We go into Darth Bane.
Right.
I love Darth Bane. So.
Yeah. Okay. So there we go. There's another episode for us. I better write that down. We do that all the time. So there's the big fight. She escapes. Or, Omega escapes. She's quite ingenious.
But she escapes with Fennec. Or no, that's right.
No, she escapes on her own.
She did escape on her own.
Then,
right.
And she was able to get, she was able to get a message out to the Bad Batch. They were able to get to the planet to save her.
Oh, that was another thing. I thought for sure Fennec was trying to double cross Cad Bane, by the way.
Until that moment, till she calls in.
Well, when Cad Bane says, "You give me the credits, I'll give you Omega," and I was like, "There ain't nothing in that case. It's the usual,
switcheroo.
Right? I'll give you an empty case, and I'm keeping the credits for myself and taking the mark also." And she actually had the credits were actually in the case, so that was something I thought for sure. I'm like, yeah, this is the typical. Switcheroo type thing.
Right. Then you find out the credits were in the case.
Right.
At the same time, they were getting lost.
Right. Right.
Like, no. There's like, my credits. It was like, oh.
I need a new hat.
Right. So I thought, he's not getting his credit. So now he's going to try to get the girl back again,
Well, of course.
Yeah. So then as they're escaping, or as Omega is escaping, we get Fennec Shan back again, and then you find out that
she was hired by,
Nalase.
Right. Thank you, Nalase.
Right. I'm having trouble keeping up too. So Nalase had hired her, and it was totally separate. And I thought it was interesting because Nalase, in that moment, we realized that Nalase is really caring for Omega because Fennec said, I can go after him. It's going to cost you extra money. And when she said, I'm going to send you your payment because she's better protected there, or it's something to the effect that, she's just so long as that whoever else isn't pursuing her.
Nalase realizes she's with the Bad Batch, and she knows the Bad Batch will do anything they can to protect her.
Yeah, so I thought that was cool.
Kind of makes you wonder if she put something in their genetics, or
we'll find out.
I don't know.
We'll find out. There's more to the story. Yeah.
But
I do like how it sets that up. Like, oh, she cares about her, and then we see Omega back with the Bad Batch, and we see them, and it was a great moment of camaraderie, family. I dare say that she is a part of the Bad Batch, and I thought it was a great moment with her and Hunter.
Yeah.
A great emotional moment.
Very father-daughter like moment. Yep.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was good.
Yes, it was good. So I thought, okay, that's good. So now, where do you think the series is going?
I'm not sure where the Bad Batch goes at this point, because I thought for sure we were going to end up back on Kamino and there was going to be some type of battle on Kamino, but obviously that's not going to happen now.
Which of course he said, "You're never going back to that place."
Right.
Hunter says, "I'm like, famous last words."
So I don't think they'll go back to Sid either. I think we might be done with Sid for the rest of the season, possibly, because now I think they're just on the run at this point, because they want to avoid any bounty hunters, and like she said, they're going to continue sending bounty hunters, and we know from the Mandalorian that goes out, that's the kind of job that's going to go out to all the bounty hunters, because they're going to send that through the entire guild, and every bounty hunter out there is going to be after her. Like Han Solo says in Empire Strikes Back, I got a bounty on my head, and that's not an easy thing to live with. So, yeah. Every bounty hunter in the galaxy is going to be after. Ooh, does that mean we could see Bosk or maybe Dengar?
We'll see Dengar and
Crosshair team up. I'll take it. I'll take that. That's close enough. That's close enough. That'll ease the pain a little bit of being totally wrong on that.
Right. Well, I will say overall, I enjoyed this episode because of you got two bounty hunters fighting, two great characters, Fennec and Cad Bane. And I hear you what you're saying. Should Fennec really be able to keep up with Cad Bane? No matter the environment, no matter the circumstances, is that feasible? I hear what you're saying.
She's still an upcoming bounty hunter. She should not have that skill yet. Sorry.
Well, we don't, but yeah. We'll get more info, maybe.
Yeah.
Look, they got to move the story along somehow, right?
Oh, I know. Look, I liked the episode. I thought the episode was great. I agree. I gave it a 4 also, and I still stay with the 4. That was your one hang up.
Right.
Had she not been able to best, and I understand it, you had to have it for the story. I get it. It's like, yeah, but really? You picked. Maybe you should have brought in Boba Fett then. Maybe to me that might have. But then again, Boba Fett's still young at this point too, I think. I'm not sure how old Boba Fett is at this point. Anyway, that was my one hang up, yes.
I will say this, that just talking about the studliness of Cad Bane. When he got the bolo shot over him and then he went over the edge, I was like, I was like, I audibly, I was like, what's going to happen? Then his rocket shoes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's Cad Bane.
Well, and I love some of the gadgets we got to see. We got to see the whole, the rope wrap thing. I don't know what in the world you call that, but Boba Fett uses it in Return of the Jedi. We saw the flamethrowers. That was cool. Which is another one that Boba Fett has. And then we saw the rockets, which we've seen the rockets before in Clone Wars, but it was pretty cool to see that in action and see how he comes away from that, unharmed and such. So, yeah, I love seeing the gadgets of the bounty hunters. Very Batman-esque, and being the Batman fan that I am, I'm all for bat gadgets. So,
right,
that was very good.
So we got the Bane gadgets. Well, yeah. So overall, I was glad it was a good episode. It wasn't filler. We got some answers for the story. It moved along the story. We got to see Cad Bane, which is always awesome, just because he's a great character. And even last week, the last episode where he shows up at the end, and we're like, yeah, it's Cad Bane. We were geeking out on that for sure.
Oh, Cad Bane's so awesome.
So it was good. I enjoyed this episode because of that. We got more lore with Cad Bane. We've got, and I do like what you shared about the whole, the whole showdown with Cad Bane and Boba,
right,
is confirming canon.
Right.
So we're looking at that as being, it looks like that's going to be considered canon.
Yeah, I was questioning how that could still be canon and we still have Cad Bane here. So that gives a good answer to it, and I like it. I think it's cool Because I think it would have been a mistake for Disney to go, okay, well, we killed Boba Fett, killed Cad Bane, and his story's done. The character's got a lot more value than that.
I think they realized that.
But,
that's just like in superhero movies, or where it's like, they're not dead, they'll bring him back. Or, come on, we killed off Superman. We brought him back.
Well, I just heard a rumor that they're about to kill Spider-Man. They're about to kill Peter Parker. Which I don't know I think they've done that before. I don't know, but yeah,
I don't know.
Well,
you think they're going to go with Miles Morales? That's a whole other subject. Sorry, we got to stop that. Stop.
Oh, yeah. Somebody will get mad at us if we go into that. You're right. Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
right.
We got another episode idea. Oh, dang. Darren, if you're listening, we're going to have you back.
Right. So, all right. Well, with that, I still continue with my 4 out of 5 Cad Bane hats for this episode.
Agreed. I do also.
And all. So, hey, everybody, thanks for joining us for our follow-up bonus episodes of the Bad Batch series. We love us some Star Wars, and so thank you so much for being with us. Don't forget to check out our website, 2geeksmike.com. I do that every time. Number 2, geeksmike.com. And there you can get to our merch page, our Ko-fi page.
Our brand new merch page on TeePublic.
Right. Our new merch page on TeePublic. If you don't know what happened with that, go back to previous episodes where we talk about our store got closed on Zazzle.
Oh, well.
We live and learn, everybody. We live and learn. So appreciate you being here with us, Mike. It's up to you. It's all you now, my friend.
All right. With that said, have a good day. Over and out, and may the Force be with you. Thank you for joining us today on the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,
may the Force be with you.